All right, y'all, we're talking day 150, and somehow I'm down 91 pounds. I was this close to losing 100 pounds in just 5 months. But here's the crazy part. That wasn't even the biggest thing that happened that month, because month 5 came a surprise from my family that I never expected my health journey to play a part in. And we're gonna talk about it, so let's dive into this month 5 recap. Welcome back to Goforth&Carnivore. I'm Jordan, sharing with you my real life and real results. If you're new here, hit subscribe to follow along with my journey, to see the wins, the failures, the struggles, and the moments that make this whole thing real. And just to give you a little bit of context, this journey started for me back in 2023 when I started the carnivore at 370 pounds after topping off at nearly 400 pounds. So everything you're about to hear took place in those early transformation days. Before I jump into day 150, here's a quick timeline. At day 90, a lot of my chronic issues started to fade. The joint pain, the fatigue, the inflammation, and the energy crashes, they're all improving. At day 120, I hit a massive milestone. 79 pounds gone, and I'm officially back in the 200s for the first time in well over a decade. And now, just 30 days later, I'm officially 91 pounds down to 279, and experiencing changes I honestly didn't expect. Let's get into it. This month, I took my kids to youth camp. If you've ever been to youth camp, you know the feeling. The long days, the nonstop activity, the heat, the sun, the running, staying up all night with these utes, and obviously very little sleep. A year ago, by noon, I would have been absolutely wiped out. Completely drained, needing naps, feeling exhausted, sweating through my clothes, needing multiple showers, and needing another set of clothes. But this year, I kept up with those teenagers all week long. Games, activities, worship, small groups, volleyball, 9 square, water polo, and I didn't crash once. Not a single time. And y'all, I, the older guy, was able to dominate some of those young, more fit teenagers in water polo. At one point, they even looked at me and were like, "Bro, who even are you?" And quite honestly, I wondered the same, because every single bit of my life up to this point, after about 5 minutes of any kind of activity, I'd be completely wiped out. But after spending a few days at camp, all of that morning doing activities, and now going to play water polo, I was able to keep up with those teenagers and to whoop some of their rears in water polo. It was a new lease on my energy, because I was able to go all day and able to still have a little bit at night and able to go down and rest rather than just collapse as I would before. But camp wasn't even the wildest part, because something happened that week that completely changed the way I think about sleep, recovery, and my health. So during this time, I was doing extended fasts where I would eat on a Monday and not eat again until dinner on Wednesday. And so I was getting used to fasting. And I had the bright idea of, hey, while you go to camp, to keep yourself from giving in to all of those camp foods, is, hey, why don't you fast all week? So you're probably thinking, okay, Jordan, you fasted for a whole week. You're insane. Well, I obviously was insane, because within a couple days, I started to go get bacon at the breakfast line. I'd go get cottage cheese or some cheese from the salad bar. And on that last night, I actually had a salad. So my fasting actually only lasted 2 days. And then I failed and I stumbled and I had that salad. Was I frustrated? Sure. But here's the difference. I didn't fall into that wallowing and self-pity mindset. I knew that I messed up. I corrected it and changed course to make sure that I could stay on track. I finally didn't spiral mentally or emotionally. I didn't shame myself. I didn't throw in the towel. I just said, okay, we're moving on and we're gonna get back on track when we get home. And that really felt like the first time that I had control of both my mental and physical emotions in that moment, to know that I could get back on track. And that right there was progress for me. Now, that week, to make sure I didn't completely fall apart, I came armed to make sure that if I did need something to eat, that I wasn't going to give in and go to the buffet with the taco line, which we all know that Jordan wants some Mexican food, but I didn't do that. I packed these Archer beef sticks. There are very minimal ingredients. Yes, some would say that this is not carnivore approved because there are some celery salt and different things like that within the ingredients, but it was something that I could take, enjoy, and not feel like I was completely falling off the wagon. I packed a bunch of them for camp in case I needed them or if my wife and kids needed them. Clean ingredients, good protein, and perfect for carnivore on the go. I'll post a link in the description if you want to see the ones that I used. And staying hydrated is always non-negotiable, but especially when you're spending a week in the dead heat of summer in southern Oklahoma. I had to stay hydrated, and I always kept keto chow with me or even the element pouches just to make sure that I was getting the electrolytes that I needed throughout the week. Because if you're fasting and are active in the heat of the summer, you need to stay hydrated and you need those electrolytes. But wait, there's more surprises this month, because the next moment hit me in a completely different way. Here's something that I wasn't expecting at all. When we go to camp, you would be doing things until wee hours in the morning, and there was moments that I would honestly just fall asleep without using my sleep apnea machine. If you've been a part of my previous videos, you understand that I had to have my sleep apnea machine every single night, because if not, I would have higher blood pressure. I could feel the strain on my heart. I would be up multiple times a night going to the restroom because my body's trying to keep itself awake to breathe without issue. But this week at camp, I fell asleep without my mask on, and I woke up fine, not foggy, not groggy, just rested. So when I got home, Rachel and I tested it a little bit. I slept a full night, and she kept an eye on me. There was no snoring, no gasping, no choking, no nonstop, no breathing moments. What I found out is that weight loss relieves that pressure from your neck and from your chest, that neck circumference, around the throat, as well as fat, and all of which reduces the sleep apnea. But I want to be sure, this is not medical advice. Do not stop using your CPAP machine. Even with progress, I kept wearing mine out of caution. But that feeling of improvement was huge, to not feel so exhausted from not wearing my CPAP machine those couple times. Then Father's Day hit. And for the first time in my adult life, I was able to take off my shirt and to not feel shame. I was just enjoying time with my family. Now, let me be real. Even after you lose 91 pounds, there's still imposter syndrome. When you've been big your whole life, sometimes your brain doesn't catch up to your body. You still feel like that old version of you, that 399.1 version of Jordan. And with the dramatic weight loss, there is loose skin. That's real. So even if I was more confident, there also was more vulnerability, honestly. But standing there, swimming with my kids, laughing with my family, the confidence won. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't ashamed. I was present. And considering that I once broke a diving board because I was so large as a teenager, jumping off one again, that was redemption. And I thought that was the highlight of the month. But boy, was I wrong. Now this part ties back to the hook. Because this month, Rachel and I found out we were pregnant with our third child after just 1 month of trying to conceive. That's after 2.5 years of infertility with our first child. We were overwhelmed. We were grateful, emotional, and shocked. We told Rachel's family on Father's Day.
Very cool.
We went ahead and printed you out baby pictures.
Oh, nice.
And it was one of the most amazing times of our lives getting to share that with them. You can hear that shock and joy and that crazy scream of my sister-in-law still gets me. Now we decided to wait until birth to find out the gender. With having one boy and one girl, we were just excited to see what God had in store for us. But in that moment, celebrating in a healthier body, surrounded by my family, I'll never forget it. This month came with more improvements, less inflammation, more stability, better recovery, fewer cravings, better movement, more energy, and most of all, more presence. No, not gifts, but getting to be in the present. So here's what I wish I knew earlier. Consistency beats perfection. Weight loss slows and energy skyrockets. Social events can become easier because you change and trust the process, not the scale. You will mess up, just bounce back. Yeah, I know those all sound like cliche things, but those are things that we need to be reminded of when we're on this journey or any health journey. Because this journey changed more than just my weight. I'm more present with my students in ministry, more alive and active with my family, more confident in who God made me to be. I'm more free. This isn't just about food. It's about healing and freedom and getting your life back. If this video encouraged you, hit like. Share it with someone who needs that encouragement. So I want to ask you, comment below, what's one moment in your health journey that surprised you? Or if you're just getting started, what's one thing you'd love to improve? Sleeping, energy, cravings, confidence? What is it? Comment, let me know. So I hope you'll join me next time to see what happened in day 180, 6 month on a carnivore diet, and the transformation that came along with that. Until next time, my friends, go forth and carnivore. Bye, guys.